What's up guys, and welcome back to some more Pokemon Sun and Moon coverage. And today I guess this is a concept video. It's not speculation, it's not like I'm saying, oh, this could happen, or this is a possibility, and I'm not saying, talking about revealed information. It's a concept basically. I saw the idea thrown around a few weeks ago, and I thought it was quite interesting, so I'm doing a little concept video on it. Basically, the concept is of Jurassic Alola. Now, obviously, I spent ages on this graphic, by the way, so please appreciate it. Basically, what I mean by this is, if we just take a quick look at the Alolan map, you can see that we have, obviously, these 4 islands, as well as this. Moving down to the bottom left, we have this sort of less inhabited island, as we've spoken about a few times. It's quite interesting, because, there's not many villages or, places of civilization there, because looking at it from here, all we can see is this floating village down at the bottom of the island. There is this what looks to be a sort of a building of sorts in the central of the island, you can see here, but it looks to be built into the a hillside or a cave. It doesn't look like a village to me. It looks like a single standing building on its own. It doesn't look very modern either. There are some people talking about the possibility of there being a gym inside this geyser field, basically, or there being something inside there. So that's one possibility. I mean, you can see in the largest crater there is an entranceway where it's lower down, so it's possible there's something in there. But whether it's civilization or not, we don't know, or whether it's some sort of cave. And then obviously there's the temple we can see at the back of the island, as well as the tree. But neither of those are really they're not civilizations. They're ancient temples. The tree being something else, I don't know exactly. So basically I'd say it's sort of like the least civilized, least habited area we've ever seen in Pokemon, excluding like the sea, of course, because there's like one town, one village clear on this island. We can't actually see anything else. It's unclear, apart from ignoring the floating town and maybe this building here, no one else lives on the island, it would seem. Maybe obviously there'll be trainers possibly, but no one actually lives on the island, which leads to sort of the idea to come out that this island could be an island that's been untouched over the years. No one's inhabited it, no one's lived there, and the Pokemon have just been there on their own, which obviously would introduce the concept of a Jurassic island, being something interesting. Obviously Jurassic Park, we know the film series, they recreate dinosaurs from amber and such. They do that, but then of course the park gets overrun and they leave it, and then later on in the second and third films, obviously the island has just been left there for the dinosaurs to have, so dinosaurs carry on living there. Obviously it's not the case of dinosaurs have been living there since the previous time. It's just a case of they were remade, I guess. So what I'm describing here is a slightly different concept. Obviously Pokemon is a different thing, but it would be the idea of an island being closed off from the whole the world, basically, just to allow Pokemon to live on. And obviously maybe we know prehistoric Pokemon were wiped out at some point for some reason. We don't exactly know why or how. Maybe those Pokemon actually just evolved straight away, because a lot of them were rock types, so you could say, oh yeah, they evolved from their rock typing, because rock is a fairly weak typing possibly, into other types, because we know we can, if we look at Pokemon, we can say, oh yes, maybe this Pokemon eventually evolved into this one. Like Archon could be the precursor for many birds we see nowadays. Just an idea. But maybe this, having an island that's completely closed off, nothing, happens to the island. Maybe it's protected from a meteor strike or something. But guys get the idea. Basically, an idea of the island that's untouched over the years. It's a very long, question. It's very long and winded, because of course it's unlikely that it would happen in real life. It hasn't happened in real life, and it's very unlikely to be, to exactly explain it in the game that would make sense. But let's just say it was made this way, okay? There's an island that's been untouched for millions of years, and it would mean that fossil Pokemon, prehistoric Pokemon, still live there. It would be quite an interesting concept for the Pokemon series, because obviously we've never had it before. All fossil Pokemon have to be restored from fossils, so we never be able to find them in the wild, for example. And obviously there's not a huge amount of fossil Pokemon, and they're all part rock type, so having a whole island of rock type Pokemon would be a bit iffy. But for example, in the geyser field you could have a Tortuga swimming around and living in the waters around the island. Then towards the back of the island you could have possibly Cranidos and Tyrant, maybe as rivals over the island, sort of battling for territory and such. Then of course you could have Lileep in the forest, since it's based on some form of plant. It's not exactly a plant, I know, but it's it looks like a plant, for example. And of course you could have even Aerodactyl flying in the canyons and sort of hunting there. And it doesn't stop there, really. You don't just have to limit it to fossil Pokemon, because some Pokemon have been around for a long time. We know, fossil Pokemon have been around for millions of years. They're millions of years old, and we don't really know any other Pokemon that are also as old, but there was some we can predict are as old, I guess you could say. But there are some examples. For example, Galurk. We know Galurk and Golett were Pokemon that were sort of, I guess, fashioned in ancient times by ancient civilizations. We don't know exactly how long ago. It could be a couple thousand years, could be hundreds of thousands of years. We don't know how old humans are in this world, but they could be, possibly put on the island as well, because this island, it might not be untouched, but there might be a very exclusive set of people living here. So, Pokemon, you wouldn't have the mainstream Pokemon like, I don't know, Togedemaru, Pikachu wouldn't be on this island, because, we can assume they're fairly modern Pokemon, whereas older ones, the fossil Pokemon, would be protected on the island, from overhunting or something along those lines. Who knows? So Golett would be one idea. Golett and Galurk. And there's also Magikarp. Now Magikarp, we can assume is a Pokemon that's been around for a long time. It's sort of a standard fish. So it's a case of fish. Nothing too special. It's just there. And there were, I think in sort of Pokédex entries, we're talking about a long time ago that Magikarp suddenly turned from being fairly strong Pokemon to weak, how we see them today. So one little feature they could do is add Magikarp to this island, but have special Magikarp almost with maybe, special moves or something like that. So just to, add a little extra to it, I guess. But that's sort of the concept of a Jurassic island. Alola obviously would be a nice one to do it on, since obviously it's got an island and the islands can be contained. It's a bit, I guess you could do islands for a Jurassic sort of setting, or caves possibly that are, sealed off, land before time sort of style. But islands work, better in my opinion, I suppose. It allows you to give it, a more sort of open branch, I suppose. I don't know how to explain it. But what would you think of sort of this island in the Alola region becoming, fossilized, having fossil Pokemon freely in the wild? Obviously it would be a different thing, and that they might have to introduce more fossil Pokemon to make up for it, because obviously got a lot of rock type Pokemon, not necessarily fossil Pokemon, but prehistoric Pokemon. They could have a lot of Pokemon on this island that are exclusive to this island only, because that's what Hawaii is like, has a lot of species that are exclusive to the set of islands. But having specific to this particular island, because they're older Pokemon and they just haven't left the island, for example, is one possibility. This is just a concept video, really. I'm not saying it's going to happen. It's just an idea I had. I have it all around, threw around. So let me know what you think about down below. We could see it in a future game possibly, but it's just an idea in the end. So that's going to be it for me for today, guys. I'll be seeing you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, my friends.